Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've done the last AMA. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? Let me just confirm that I'm actually live. Give me 1 minute, guys. Yep, great. All right, looks like it. Cool, cool, cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have an important AMA, you could say. A lot of people, by the way, whenever I do these AOAs, have been saying, "Oh, why you constantly drink from a bottle and blah blah blah." So today, ladies and gentlemen, especially for you guys, I got a glass this time, just a fresh glass of water, because when you talk a lot, your throat gets a little bit thirsty. So that's why you have to do it. All right. First, a little bit of some house notes. You got to say. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation in English as well. Either way. So today was supposed to be me and Steve on the AMA. Now, we've seen the questions that have been sent in, and we thought, because not everybody could make the AMA, Antonio has asked for everyone to be on the AMA. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that today because of the different time schedules. And what we wanted was basically to just go further with this AMA, have some realistic reflection, transparent question answering, just get some, trust back, not be naive about things. Let's be realistic about things and just go straight into the questions. Now, I wanted to do this ASAP just to start with to give 2026 a fresh start, to leave the negativity in 2025, and to just, move further alongside working with you guys instead of against each other, and just lay a positive foundation for 2026. Now, there's gonna be an AMA with Steve and Graham next week, Tuesday, at the same time, 5 p.m. UTC. So now in a week, there's going to be an AMA with Steve and Graham. Now, those are going to be all the technical questions are going to be answered on that AMA. Regarding some other stuff about the properties, etc., there will be updates from Steve and Steve. So you guys have it spread over multiple things, but seeing the questions that have been sent in, it was clear that I could answer most of the questions. Otherwise, Steve would also been on the AMA a bit as a side person, which is fine. It's great, but to have that split up and do it in multiple, and also then when you guys get all the tech questions answered, all the general questions answered, like the buybacks and all that stuff, and then split it into multiple. So I will answer most of your questions, guys, today, and then next week is going to be another AMA. In the meantime, there's going to be some updates, and then all the questions will be answered. Now, to start off, 2025 has been an interesting year. I've heard of for many people that it's been a bad year, actually, and I understand why. For some reason, 2025 was a learning experience, I think, for a lot of people, including myself and including team members. And I think 2026 hopefully is going to be a great year. In 2026, we've had many highs and we've had many lows, as you always have, I think, in a life cycle. But hopefully within this AMA, we can start off 2026 with a very positive note and get going on some refreshed energy, and just to move ahead, move further in a great way. All right, let's get into the questions. I'll be going over, I think, most of the questions. And if your question is not asked, feel free to send me a DM or ask it. Likely, it's going to be then answered in one of the next AMAs with Steve, or either with Graham, or whatever. And yes, it's also the first time on time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started and let's get right into it. Now, first of all, there's been a lot of great questions. and also a lot of not so great questions. No, I'm just joking. But there's been a lot of great questions. And I just wanted to pick out a couple, three actually of them, which is from the same person or two persons that asked those questions. And I think they're really deep questions, and it also sets off, I think, this AMA in the right tone, what it should be, some realistic reflection. And that's why I wanted to start with the first one, just to get that out of the way. So these three questions I thought were really good, really deep questions. And the first one is, what is one decision that the team made in the last 6 months that you would not repeat today? And I think that this summarizes also the way that we want to go forward, and it also says something about the mistakes that we've made, which I think is primarily the maybe overcommitment, so to say, to certain dates. You know, whenever we make like a roadmap or set a target, initially it always seems very doable. However, it's, one thing that I've learned in this business, and especially I think also that counts for a startup in general, is things often do not go as planned, unfortunately. But it is the realism of the situation. It often does not go fully as planned. And that just creates a situation often where you do not get on time. And because, we always want to deliver like the very, very best result for you guys. And we also feel the pressure for that. And sometimes maybe we get pressure because everybody is when, and now. And that makes it that, you want to deliver. You feel the responsibility, and you feel that commitment that you want to deliver. And that sometimes creates that you commit to a date, and then whenever there's a setback, it falls out, and then you have a situation where you lose trust because you're not able then, because of a setback or whatever happens, to commit to the date that you initially made a commitment to. So that also, I think, marks something that we've definitely learned from in 2025 and want to go into in 2026, is something that, do not over commit to dates. And before you're absolutely 100% sure that there is a date that you can stick to, then give the date. And that plays in the narrative of under promising and over delivering. The mantra that we now want to live by is that. So yeah, that's just a note that I wanted to start off with and get out of the way, which is some reflection as well from our side, which I think it's just something that's very, very important to go into the next phase of EstateX and for the future, is under promise, over deliver, not get pressured into dates, and just make sure that, whenever you commit to a date, it's absolutely fully certain. Next question, which I also thought was very good, is if buybacks were removed entirely, what specific on-chain and operational activity would still create sustained demand? Now, obviously, it's a good question, and I understand where you want to go with this question, but obviously a big part of the utilities is obviously that with the revenue that is generated, we do buybacks on the chart. And that's obviously, if you don't have revenue, eventually you don't have a business, right? So that comes into the play that is the main utility. However, there are also other various utilities which still going on. But for that, you're almost making a sort of a revenue. So I understand the way you're going. It's just very difficult. But just for the sake of the question, I will differentiate it, which is primarily the blockchain fees, right? The gas fees, the TVL, the on-chain activity, whatever gets tokenized in the ecosystem, or projects that need to do, on RWA pad, that need to build on something on the EstateX blockchain. So you have that, the TVL activity, the blockchain activity. Obviously, you have the transaction fees on the platform, which are paid in EstateX. Things like needing to hold EstateX, have a certain amount for, let's say, the launch pad, to qualify for the certain tier or for the unicorn club, for example, people that want to get in there and the networking opportunities that are going to arise there and the things that we want to do with the unicorn club. Or things like the pools that will be created with the the launchpad projects, for example, or ESX being a stepping stone, for example, for EstateX Pay, things like that will still be able to generate some sort of demand for ESX. Can you also commit to a vesting schedule? I think one of the parts that has definitely also been just some realistic reflection, maybe also been part of a loss of trust. However, I think still made for the right reason, which is the longevity of the ESX token, of EstateX, and for the project, which is changing the original vesting. But there will be no more vesting changes. I mean, we stick to the vesting that we now have, the hyperbolic vesting. And also, you're asking for certain dates to be released. So just to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, every release that we do always is on a daily release schedule, right? So there's no certain unlock. Some people still think that they need to claim every 19th of the month. They can claim every day. They can claim every couple of days. They can claim every week. You know what I mean? They can claim every 2 weeks. You don't need to claim just on the 19. There's not going to be certain dumps within the vesting schedule, so to say. When there's a bunch of tokens released, it's all being released on a daily release schedule. So it's the most that we can being done within the buy pressure that there is, for example. So you don't have certain coordinated dumps on certain release dates. It's always on the daily release schedule. Also a question about the tokenomics, which is just another question. I'll summarize now. So basically, if you don't recognize your question in full, that I'm gonna all go over now, that is because we've categorized the questions in, let's say, tech questions, operational questions, buybacks questions, stuff like that. So, some questions have been cut into parts because otherwise it's just going to be a very chaotic AMA. And we just want to do it that if people watch the AMA, they can also watch back in certain categories. You know what I mean? So that's how we're going to go over the AMA. I just want to pick two questions out. One is about tokenomics. So tokenomics are going to be released hopefully next week. We've been making all the documents clear, etc. And we want to go into the new year with obviously the transparency and the getting trust back, making sure that we're all on the same page, all aligned. And in that case, and in that regard, also tokenomics, I think, is a part of that. So there was also one question which I formulated a bit differently, is how many tokens are staked and released, and will also be in there. Will the EstateX platform allow us in the near future to buy cryptocurrencies other than ESX? Like this question is a sort of pact, as it is like a question like, are you going to turn into an exchange in the future? Like, will the EstateX platform allow us in the near future to buy cryptocurrencies other than ESX and send fiat currencies without going through other exchanges? And will it have an integrated wallet to do without MetaMask Trust Wallet, making our lives easier and with high security? No, there won't be. You won't be able to buy other tokens. We want to stay focused on the ecosystem that we have or have planned out, which is selling properties, the secondary marketplace that we obviously want to deliver, the liquidity that we want to deliver, RWA pad, which we're now focusing on, AIEX, the blockchain. There's a lot there already, and want to stay focused on that and just rolling that out. So no ambition at the moment to turn into another sort of exchange. I know that for the ESX blockchain, Graham is working on a wallet function, but I'll leave him for next week, Tuesday, to answer that. So no, in that regard. All right. Now let's get into the first one. The first section, which is tokenomics, buybacks, and ESX price. Now, like I said, it's going to be split, so questions might be split just so the AMA is concise and easier to understand. Okay. How does ESX generate value once the platform is fully operational? Well, this is through the utilities that we earlier mentioned, which is that we want to have 20 to 35% of company revenue that are used for buybacks in the ESX token, creating liquidity inflow within the token. And also you have things like the transaction fees, the ESX blockchain, stepping stone for EstateX Pay, all these things that are in the ecosystem laid out to be done. So that's how ESX generates value, where you see that the more properties are sold, the more people tokenize on the blockchain. That has a positive effect on ESX. That's the goal, that whether better the company does, better ESX does as well. From which exact revenue streams does fiat revenue enter the ecosystem? But this could be anything really that generates revenue. So this could be property sales, this could be transaction fees, this could be the secondary marketplace fees, this could be the launchpad races, this could be revenue that the ESX blockchain generates. So yeah, it's basically all revenue combined. What percentage of revenue is allocated to ESX buybacks? That's what we've always mentioned. So the 20 to 35%. So that's what we want to do. How are buybacks executed? Lump sum, daily, monthly, quarterly. So this is probably going to be in a lump sum, because revenue can come from a lot of different things. And if you do it once quarterly, then you're going to have specific trading based on that quarterly inflow, etc., etc. It's way better when it's unpredictable. So people would want to keep staying in the ESX token, want to keep it holding, right? Because you have these unexpected revenue inflows, whether that be on a daily basis or whether that be on a weekly or every couple of days in a random order. So that's how we basically want to do it. Whenever there's revenue cleared, so let's say we take RWA pad as an example. If RWA pad generates revenue and there's a race conducted and the token has launched, for example, and there's no refund that need to be committed, then at that time what happens is the revenue is cleared, and with that a buyback will be done. Are buybacks automated, manual, or hybrid? It's, I think, going to be very difficult to do it automated, just because a lot of processes are manual, so to say. Collecting the money, needing to have like a certain specific amount of revenue taking it from it, those type of stuffs. Sometimes it can come from all types of different places. It's never possible to do it 100% automated, because if you have like a third party property which we get a commission from, let's say, for example, that gets sold, then that's going to be impossible if it goes through our from one bank account to another bank account, and then to try to automate that's just not possible. So it's probably going to be manual, and then fuels into another question, which is, will buybacks and burns be transparently reported over time? Is then yes. Is once a buyback is done, we will obviously share that in the community. I think what makes sense is to make like specific wallets for it, that if you have a wallet, that it can be tracked when a buyback is done, and then that is transparently communicated and posted within the community. What is the schedule for buybacks after property is sold out? Now, this can also be dependent on how the backend process is, for example. Because if you have like, let's say you have a property which is in our possession, then it's just a matter of clearing the revenue. you know what I mean, selling the property out, making sure that the developer is paid. We take our cut, and then, you know, the once that is fully sold out and the developer is paid and the transfer of ownership has been done, because then it's officially the process is been completed. Then you do the review sold out, or the review buyback, because until that time, anything you know, relatively speaking, can still happen. So once review is fully cleared and confirmed, that's when you do the buyback. And this can have, you know, play out into different processes. Let's say, for example, you have a property, like I said, that we owned. It's a bit easier, but let's say it's for Sky Villas. It's a third-party property, let's say, for example. Then we need to first make sure that the money is cleared by the third-party provider. And then once the third-party provider has cleared it, then we get the commission. And then on the commission, once we have received the commission, we do the buyback, right? But in any case, whether that, you know, whatever the back-end process is, it's always a matter of when is the revenue cleared and confirmed. And once it's cleared and confirmed, a buyback happens. Okay. Next question. I'm not fully sure how to answer this. Is how many properties are required to materially impact ESX price movement? Well, price always moves. Whether it's a dollar sale, it's just a very tiny movement, or whether it's a dollar buy, it's a very tiny movement up, or whether it's a $1,000 buy or sell, there's always ESX price movements. So with any property, there's an ESX price movement. How much is it for? I think what you mean is like a positive price movement. This is impossible for me to answer, to be honest, because, you know, this depends on so many factors. It's like, you know, how is the market that day? You know, if you have, for example, the EVE liquidity pool, right? On the DEX, it's bound to EVE. So that means that if the price of EVE drops, the amount, the relatively USD amount in liquidity pool was lower, while some, you know, a certain amount of ESX sales have then a higher impact than when the EVE price is up. You know what I mean? So how many people are selling that day? You know what I mean? How is the order book liquidity at that moment on an exchange? You know, that doesn't need to be replenished, yes or no. There's so many factors playing a role in that. How many tokens are released? You know, who's gonna sell that day? So yeah, it's impossible to answer. You know, it has a lot of variables. But obviously, as always, we always intend that the ESX price movement is eventually going to be carried by property sales, right? How many properties that takes, that depends also on the, you know, how high is the price at that moment. Yeah, so like I said, it depends on a lot of things. It's impossible for me to answer, to be honest. Okay, let's see. The next question is about. Okay, so the next section, I'm gonna move to vesting claims, airdrops, and rewards. So I've already answered the question of can the team commit to like a fixed public vesting in the beginning of the AMA, which I said like yes, gonna be doing that. Hyperbolic one. Why were the OG vesting bonuses delayed, and will they be claimable without errors? Yeah, so we have been working over the dev team and myself. We've been working on finding the right balance between rewarding the OG bonuses and shillers and all of that, and making sure that, you know, the people who invested their money also don't get nuked and lose a lot of their value. So we have an update because we've been putting a lot of things in place. You know, you have to imagine that the process of uploading all these smart contracts and stuff like that takes, you know, even with so many wallets, like 2 to 3 weeks to be able to be done properly. You know, uploading it all manually by manually, checking it, going over it, all of that stuff. It takes just a lot of manual time, and then especially during the holiday periods, it's very difficult because, you know, people also want to spend time with families and stuff like that. But we have an update at the end of the week. The whole team is aware of that, so the update will be on the end of the week. This is for the moonshot people. This is for the So, and when I say this update, it's with release date, amount of release, staking, and the smart contracts that are going to be uploaded, all of that. So every detail that you want, end of the week is going to come there regarding all of this. Ambassadors, all of that stuff. And yes, I know that a lot of people have been asking here for accountability, stuff like that. And yes, I admit communication in the past has been not good about this, and this could have been prevented some irritations. I fully agree. With that in mind, you will see a new phase coming up in the community as well, who's going to handle more questions in the community and community efforts and things like, wallet changes, things like, yeah, just the usual customer service stuff. Because, there's obviously been a bit of an inefficiency within customer service, so to say. And I've been trying to handling these the past weeks, but it's just a lot. And I also have a lot to do, you know what I mean? So I can't be customer service too. So yeah, there's gonna be seeing a new phase, and we've streamlined the process basically internally going into 2026 to make sure that all of these is now going to be done efficiently. And I think that leads also to a question that I had here, which I will ask in like full. Let me check if I can find it. Yeah, here is: does EstateX, through its dev team, have the capacity to resolve absolutely all the errors that pre-sale investors face when they want to claim the available tokens, but can't claim precisely because of these errors reported by various pre-sale investors, but unfortunately unresolved some after some weeks? Yes. Well, obviously, sometimes there are always going to be errors. You're still working with tech. We're also working with third-party tech, and some bugs will always pop up. So there'll always be some errors. I think if you're talking about global errors, I think the global errors have mostly been resolved. However, there's going to be always some sort of errors that, keeps happening, so to say, or there will be individual errors. And yes, we have made improvements now on customer service, which we'll notice. And also you can send me a DM, and we'll make sure that cases have been resolved. I think the past week, 2-3 weeks, I've been resolving some cases and clarifying for people. I think some people can confirm that as well. So yes, we're doing our best here. Okay. Can we get the status of like Moonshot, Daily Challenge, Lambo giveaway, other promotional rewards? Yes, I just gave the status of Moonshot and the Daily Challenge. That will also be included in all the, OG tokens, ambassador tokens, all of that stuff. And then the Lambo giveaway, yeah, this is obviously, guys, we need to roll out the ecosystem first. And then get back on to these type of promotional things, you know what I mean? We just want to deliver tangible results now. Some people have been saying, like, how are you guys not a bit too distracted? I don't think we're too distracted, because everything that we do at the moment is going to be in a concise order, under promise, over deliver. Like I said in the beginning, how I started is not sticking to dates if it's not needed. Or when you're absolutely sure, that's the better way to phrase it, and just commit to delivering tangible results and then get back into the fun promotional activities. So I think that's the way that we need to do it, and that's always also the best for all community members involved, and us and everyone. When will airdrop bonuses be distributed, and what percentage of AI ESX supply is allocated to airdrops? Now, we are preparing slowly now the AI ESX and the AI agent stuff. A lot of people sent me through yesterday the announcement of Parcel and forgot the other name for the moment, but for the real estate housing market prediction markets, which is very interesting, and suggesting that we should do something with our technology. Just do some sort of cooperation. We have technology to source the absolute best products. So to have like a sort of a mixture between these upcoming prediction markets for the housing market, which will be very popular, and AISX with its capabilities to source the very best properties all over the world, being able to deliver you the right data, negotiation info, the right tactics, all of that is going to be very, very interesting. And we're going to start it now slowly. Obviously, there wasn't directly answer to the question, but it does illustrate what we're going to be doing and working on. And how we're basically forming this AI EstateX. An AI agent release. So you will see more stuff about this. I've also posted the newsletter, the monthly newsletter, which is we're going to be posting now. And the monthly newsletter is also mentioning the AI ESX stuff. In the monthly newsletter, we have a little piece about AI ESX and everything that's upcoming. So we will roll that out more and more as well. So that is very great. Because AI ESX is coming. The launch of it is going to be coming. The airdrop is going to be coming. And what I'm basically trying to say is that you will see more and more promotional activities. So I can't say right now what the percentage of AI ESX supply that's going to be allocated to airdrops is at the moment. I also can't say when the airdrop bonuses will be distributed, because before that we have to announce a launch date, promotional activities, get people hyped, etc., etc. So we're going to do it out and build out in phases. So trust me, it will come, and you will hear all about it. Okay, cool. Why have repeated claim deadlines been missed, and how will this be handled moving forward? I think I've previously answered that. I think just to do to another moment of reflection, I think some claim deadlines sometimes, when you're too focused on certain things, we just need to make sure that processes are fully 100% optimized. And within that, we include, for example, the streamline of the communication with customer service, etc., etc. So that's something that we've now put in place and that you will see. So be handling moving forwards to be able to be doing that better, do the communication better, and all of that stuff. Okay, cool. Let me get a drink, guys. How far are we along? We still have quite a bit to go. But I know you guys love these AMAs, right? So, and it's been a while. All right. Roadmap, timelines, and execution. Cool. All right. Why was the Q4 roadmap not delivered in full? I think this is a very good question. And like I said, this also plays in the narrative of what I said of under-promising, over-delivering, is that we have stick to dates, which then if setbacks happen, it's not fully viable anymore. And if you have too little space to be able to calculate in these setbacks, which we've seen often happening, that's something that we have to learn from, something that we have to do, something that we have learned from. And some, setbacks have been there. Things like, the blockchain had a little bit of technical delay, which it always has technical stuff. Something that I've learned, which is not the tech team's fault. It just happens. There mean some things that you haven't seen, or a bug that needs to be resolved, or whatever the situation, whatever the case is. It always takes a little bit longer often. So we want to take like more of a stretch within the next timelines that we announce and roadmaps that we announce, and then also the how do you say it? The timelines that we announce get more of a stretch in and not commit to dates when we're absolutely sure for it. So that's been the reason. We just had a couple of setbacks. If you look at RWA pad, we didn't want to launch, for example, RWA pad before we launched properties. And with the properties, which we did deliver in Q4, we wanted to make sure that we measure the interest first before knowing what to offer on the platform. Because let's say we would have committed. This is also a question that has been asked by someone a couple of weeks ago, which how many properties have you already signed and do in the pipeline, etc., etc. And he was disappointed that the answer was that we haven't signed any future properties. He was expecting, oh, you've already signed 10 properties, but we need to measure the capacity that we have first. We need to measure the amount of interest that there is within the own investor database, which have sold out the Sky Villas, by the way, with that, which we're almost done with the other parts as well. But that means that we first, before you commit and make an agreement with someone that you can later then not commit to, you need to make sure that what you offer is actually useful and viable, right? Because otherwise, you're going to run into problems. So that's not a way how to run a business or how to run a company. You can't do that. So whenever you get into these things, we need to measure interest first, because that also depends, like, how much can we offer? Because let's say, everything is sold out in the blink of an eye. That means, okay, let's get quickly the new next properties, etc., etc. But if it does not sell in the blink of an eye, you do not want to have 10 million ready that can't be sold, because that's a very bad look too. So you need to find like that middle ground, that balance. And then the next assumption was, because it was so close to Christmas, okay, people are going to have, spend their money on Christmas stuff, etc., etc. So let's open the payments for the next month. So this month we will have payments open for Sky Villas, for the other property sales, which also more information comes about that. Just to give you some background and insight in our thinking process, how we do that. This has been basically the main reason. Now, some things have been ready already, but you have to roll out the platform first, right? To get back to the original question, why was the Q4 roadmap not delivered in full? And we've also had technical setbacks. Now we're gonna this is gonna play into like the next questions. I'll form them into one, which is, when can the community expect missed Q4 deliverables, and when will an updated roadmap for Q1 and Q2 be published? That is very, very soon. I think maybe early next week there will be a new roadmap. Maybe don't pin me on it, maybe the end of this week, but likely next week we will have a new roadmap, and we will take the under promise over deliver type of things with more of a stretch. So we put in more of a stretch, so we under promise and over deliver. And I think that you have a thing where the payments are going to open up this month. End of the month you have the blockchain beta launch. Shortly after that, around the same time, you have RWA pet. So the platform launch, where we're gonna have people sign up, commit to the tiers. We're gonna have, but Steve will update you about this. Marketing Steve, is that he will have like, we're gonna be organizing something cool, which is like demo days for projects that are gonna compete against each other, gaining their audience, and we want to make that like a sort of a marketing phenomenon, where there's going to be like demo days, the show where they can win like a launchpad race, and the community can vote on who they think the best and want to race, and we get their audience and they get their we build them up as a proper launchpad as it is, and we all win. And to be able to participate in the sale, you must hold a certain amount of ESX and commit to that, and so those are the things that we want to do. A little sneak peek. Like I often say, Steve, don't slap me. Cool stuff on that side. And we will come with, those are a bit of the timelines that I can give you right now for those things. I think Q2, you're going to look at EstateX University is more like a scale up things after the first properties have been sold out. And then, basically that. So we will come with a full roadmap next week. Can the team provide a realistic release calendar going forward? And the answer is yes. Okay. What milestones should the community expect in the first half of 2026? Well, like I said, the roadmap is going to be released next month, which you should expect. This is what we're working towards. And obviously it could be subject to change, of course, both on the promise over deliver, but we do our best to, in the first half of 2026, to realize obviously the blockchain launch that we want to do. Obviously, the properties are open up for sale, always a property. Some marketing campaigns. We have next week already an AMA with Crypto G, which is going to be very cool. Yeah, I wanted to say tomorrow, but that's not true. So yeah, next week, gonna start off and kick off some things in that regard as well. Who has a great audience, gonna introduce, update his audience again on all the developments that we've made, and he's gonna give our audience some insights on what he's doing and the market in general and what to expect. And we're gonna be doing that with more communities, like we said. But anyway, back to the milestones. So this month is the L1 blockchain beta, Sky Villas payments, and the other payments, we're gonna get the RWA pad are gonna follow shortly after. Then we have some tech updates on the platform where you can want to integrate, because that's been developed, swipe feature, for example, stuff like that. Then we're going to go on to hopefully the secondary marketplace and that type of stuff. So we will upload the full updated roadmap about that, but those are like basically the milestones. Like, we keep focusing on business development, right, guys? So yeah, that. When will the EstateX app and mobile app be launched? So we have our web app already launched. And what is in development at the moment is that we're going to first be focusing on rolling out that in the web app. And then we will continue with the development of the mobile app and get that hopefully released. When that is exactly going to be is I'm not sure at this moment. I think this is also something for Graham to answer. So this will be something that I'll pass on to Graham as well. How long will the blockchain and launchpad beta phase last before full release? I don't think too long, but again, next week, Tuesday, Steve and Graham on an AMA, and Graham will answer this. Okay, cool. Then there's a whole section, questions about blockchain migrations and technical infrastructure. Questions like, I'm just going to read some out loud so you don't say, I'm not ignoring the questions. Graham is just a person to answer this. He will be answering this on Tuesday, January 13th, 5 p.m. UTC. He will answer all these questions, like when will the EstateX blockchain be fully operational beyond beta? What's the plan for migrating? How will migration affect vesting, existing wallets? Will there be a native DEX or integration with major DEXs? Will Ledger and hardware wallets be supported for staking? Stuff like that. Cool. Same for the properties, the real estate strategy, the RWA expansion is the next. So there are a couple of questions that I can answer. Let me see. Here's one, for example. Why are some property sales currently done in fiat or USDT instead of ESX? I thought there was an ESX utility. No, we've always very transparently communicated and in the marketing materials, etc. I would recheck that. It was not a utility. Transaction fees are paid in ESX. Obviously, the blockchain, the gas fees, part of revenues used for buybacks and stuff like that. Here's a good question as well. Why are only fractions of properties offered instead of full ownership? My guy, if you want full ownership of a property, please, please, please do reach out, because what we have on the website, as you might have noticed, is the professional/qualified investor section. Before the new year, I did an AMA with Steve Cracks and with Graham, where also Steve Cracks said some pieces. I have marketing material videos about that, which we will release. Is if you are there for ownership and stuff like that, and you want full ownership of a property, you can come to us and we'll make sure you get it. You know what I mean? Let me actually see if I can share my screen. Can I share my screen? Share screen. Okay, guys, see my screen? think so, right? Okay, cool. Yes, perfect. All right. Let me get the site. Cool, cool, cool. Share screen. This is not gonna work. Okay, cool. I think you guys can see the screen at the moment. All right. So let me go to professional investors. Here's the white glove service. For the white glove service, sorry, I got a message come through. Let me just double check really quickly if you guys can see it. Yes, okay. So the white glove service for qualified professional investors, right? And this is also, I'll post the clips about it during the weekend or something like that, where you can work directly with CEO Steve Craigs to make sure that we find for your portfolio, for your diversification of your portfolio, the right properties for it. So whether that be whole ownership or investing into a fund, but basically for large scale investments, right? Whether that be like 100,000 investment of 100,000 euros or dollars plus, or you hold a portfolio of over 500,000, or whatever you want, full ownership. You can come to us, even if it's less than that. You can offer into our retail tokenized property offerings. Even if it's less than that, you can just come to us, get a white glove service, and our team under legal Craigs will work with you to see what portfolio fits your investment specifications and your investment needs. So yes, we also do wholesale of properties, and if there's anything you want regarding that, then feel free to come to us, and we'll get the very best for you. So, okay, next question. Why was Sky Villas limited to 100K allocation? Shouldn't we be investing in full properties? Which also ties a bit into why are only fractions of properties offered instead of full ownership. Yeah, so Sky Villas was 100K allocation because we wanted to test capacity. In all honesty, guys, Sky Villas was something that originally we wanted to do like fairly quickly because it was a quick fix. Now we just to get some, because we had some, for example, some regulatory factors where being able to get a property live took like 3 to 4 months, and then we had some internal restructuring, and that took some time. And then Sky Villas came around the corner that already had a legal framework under the guise of that we're working with. Like I've mentioned this previously, I think in previously a former German. Was it Deutsche Bank? I think it was Deutsche Bank where she worked for, which he basically managed a $1 billion portfolio. That's the guy that we're working with for this. And he already had a quick solution that we could tap into, basically. Now, that took way longer than expected due to all kinds of unforeseen circumstances. We was a bit of a dilemma with restructuring, and then the technical things had to be done, and then with our regulatory umbrella that then had to be involved still, and then it just took a little bit longer than we expected. So that was why Sky Villas originally was just 100K allocation. And basically you have to see it as like this is a full development property. So you invest into the development, and once you've invested in the development, you get a certain return or amount back. Now, once the development is completed and the property is sold, right? So you have to see it as like it's a big pie, and we got a piece of the pie. And within that piece of the pie, we were able to offer this to our investors. So yeah, that is basically the reason why we did 100K allocation. If anybody wants to invest more than 100K in Sky Villas, feel free to reach out. I'm sure we can arrange it. Okay. Here's the question: are cheaper properties planned to attract smaller investors? I'm not sure what you mean with that. If you mean that the minimum investment goes down, then eventually, yes, it will go down. If you say even cheaper properties than we have, I think that's going to be very difficult. Can EstateX expand into Web 2/traditional real estate assets? It's like we already have that. It's just tokenized on the blockchain, but essentially the backend is traditional real estate assets. The rest of the questions like what is preventing onboarding of properties in locations like Bulgaria? Why do Renew focused on Cape Verde? What about the marketing plans to attract Web2 investors? Updates are going to follow by Steve and Steve. I think also on the next AMA is going to be answered. Maybe in the meantime it's going to be answered. So I'll leave that to them because that's their department and their portfolio. So those questions will be answered. Again, I'm repeating the questions just to make sure that yes, we've seen your question and yes, your question will be answered. It's just going to be answered by the right person. Okay, then let's move on to the next section. All right, let me get a drink. Okay. Cool. What are the requirements to launch a project on the EstateX Launchpad? I think this is going to be, and I know who asked that. By the way, thanks for the white paper. We are analyzing the white paper. So I haven't forgotten you at all. We're analyzing the white paper at the moment internally, and we'll get back to you with a response on that. What are the requirements to launch a project on the EstateX Launchpad? Is this going to be individual based? This is going to be how far is the team? What benefits does it have? What country is it located? What's the experience of the founders? There are no certain requirements for it. Anybody can apply, and we will internally review to see if it's something that is interesting enough for EstateX and RWA Bet and our investors that we have. If it's a good project behind it, if it has solid results already, if licensing has been secured, for example, if they know what they're doing, if they know what they're talking about, how are the tokenomics, all of that stuff, right? All of that stuff. Where can developers access technical documentation for white label blockchain solution? Again, I'll pass this on to Graham. I don't think that is there yet. I know that he's been working on things like APIs, and that has been in the plans. We'll just need to pass the question on to Graham for next week, Tuesday, January 13th, 5 p.m. UTC. Are there plans for acquisitions or buyouts for companies that want to enter the RWA space? I'm not sure what you mean with this question, to be honest. I don't know how to answer that. How many companies or projects are currently ready to use the RWA PEP? So we have some pipeline with interesting projects. Now, we wanted to launch RWA PEP sooner. However, a lot of the big projects that were also hyped and quality projects, they postponed because the market just turned horrendous. It turned horrendous. So they postponed their launch, and story that you've obviously are likely familiar with. And they basically postponed, I wouldn't say indefinitely, but till further notice, right? Till the market recovers a little bit. Hopefully that's what they're hoping for. And at the moment, it's just, we didn't want to launch projects that were not so good quality. So we decided to hold off on the RWA pet launch altogether. And with that in mind, that's basically the story. So yes, we have a couple of them in the pipeline. Okay, cool. I think that's that. All right. Then questions about the team. is this this has been asked um, a couple of times. Is Thomas O'Neill still part of the core team? And what is his role? Is yes, he's still part of the core team, and his role is more in the background. And I'll give you guys just a realistic, once as well, realistic view on this, which is no personal offense to anyone. So basically, about his role is just doing things in the background. You know what I mean? He's doing administrative things, financial things. He's working with us on being able to, write up documents, being able to prepare this. He's just doing the normal business development things, you could basically say. He holds different kind of tasks, just like I hold different kinds of tasks. I just hold Steve has different kinds of tasks, etc., etc. I'll just give you guys a realistic view on why there's been certain less facings from certain people in the community, and just a blunt, honest answer is, sometimes some people think that we're just, robots or of stone or whatever. But being in the community all day and getting a load of shit towards you every single day. I always make the analogy, running a project is like showering with a new bucket of shit every day. And that's just the realistic situation, how it is. And I have that role at the moment, which is, yeah, is what it is. But it's just sometimes it's also mentally very tough, and especially in situations, if the market is shit and the token goes down, they have some delays, and people call you scammer, and then and want to send death threats your head, and all of that stuff. It's just mentally very draining to constantly be the center of criticism, etc., etc. And you guys do ask a lot, and you guys are also sometimes it's mentally draining to be able to be 24/7 in negativity and criticism. It does play, it does take a mental toll, to be honest, and it does also take a mental toll on some team members in the past. Which is why, I think that with my presence in the community and the presence of other team members in the community, I see projects where there is no team member in the community or just some community mod. And I think sometimes people don't realize that the fact that we are there every day and try to, be able to transparently communicate and all of that stuff is something that some people take for given, but is absolutely not given. It's absolutely not. And a lot of people have been asking them, oh, why do I don't see this person in the community? Why is Steve Cracks less there? Why is marketing Steve there less? Why is Thomas not so often in the community? It's because it's mentally exhausting to be constantly in the center of criticism, to be constantly in the center of questions, and sometimes people also don't always know what they're talking about, and just it's also very distracting. It's also distracting from work and stuff like that. So people also want to stay, don't always want to feel bad and just stay away for a bit. And then often I take that up, but also for me it's sometimes draining, and it's very mentally tough in these type of times. So yeah, that's the reason why some people are rather on the background. How many tokens are allocated to team members, employees, and KOLs? I don't have the exact number for KOLs. I think most of the KOLs have already been paid out fully. There are some tokenomics will release, which shows the amount of tokens for team, right? Which has had a small TG unlock and has a 2-year cliff. So how many tokens are allocated to team members, employees? I saw this question as well. Employees are not paid in ESX tokens, so that's not where sell pressure comes from. So I will, you will get more information with the tokenomics next month. What internal changes occurred after Steve Cracks joined as CEO? Yeah, so internal restructuring, you know what I mean? We had a couple of people, I think, that were not maybe after internal observation, not at the right place, you could say. So with some people, we've parted ways. I believe Steve Craigs, like you've seen in EstateX Invest in the group, he brought his own people in, right? So people like Daisy, etc., which is a team that he very much likes to work with and trusts, and have done an excellent and amazing job so far in terms of their commitment and work and all the stuff that they want to do. So also things like setup of certain SPVs in certain countries, switch out the legal framework, put a new legal framework in. Those type of internal changes have occurred and restructuring has taken place. Okay, let's move on to the next section. Here, are there plans for partnerships with major KOLs and influencers? Are you gonna do things with like Shu and stuff like that? We have done things with Shu, like he's posted multiple times and retweets and stuff like that. Yes, obviously, next week we have an AMA with CryptoG, and we will do a couple of more AMAs with other people. It's also just a bit like, a lot of KOLs at the moment do not associate with low caps, just because of their reputation, so to say, and because everybody, a lot of people are now focused on high caps, which hopefully, is gonna change a little bit. Market has picked up a little bit, so let's see if that happens. But yes, we will continue with KOL posts and stuff like that. KOL post doesn't have a major effect anymore. It's not market situation anymore where people, KOL does a call and all of a sudden, people are gonna buy the token and stuff like that. I think that's more like a 2021 thing that doesn't really work anymore. What's the status of partnerships with Brock Pierce and DNA Fund? Yeah, still working with them. I'm gonna do some things with DNA Fund. We wanted some proof of concept first, and see how the reservations were, and then we're gonna push out things with DNA funds of like the properties and stuff like that. Brock Pierce is obviously involved in that. The rest I'll leave over to the next AMA. Cool. How is user data protected across EstateX Pay and other ecosystem pillars? I think just a couple of things. There are certain data guidelines or regulations that we have to follow and which we will follow. So things like GDPR guidelines. We're making sure that we do not sell data of our customers. Our data does not get sold. It gets data is getting collected. If you talk about KYC data by regulated providers like SAMSUP, being able that they are the qualified people for that, and all data is stored in GDPR-proof data rooms and stuff like that. So we follow the normal international guidelines and GDPR guidelines for data and data protection. Okay. When is approval expected for UAE legal frameworks? Yeah, so there have been some changes within the VARA regulations, which we've been waiting on. So we're gonna have some international legal frameworks. So the difference is more in like marketing in these areas. For example, we can accept Saudi, Qatari, UAE investors. We could just not actively market within those regions. That's usually where the differentiation is regarding licensing and regulation. So let's say, for example, you run Google Ads in that jurisdiction, you're gonna need a license. Let's say a UAE or Saudi investor stumbles upon your websites and wants to invest, then you don't need a license there. So that's why we're gonna be opening up with some international regulation that we follow, which you'll hear about soon. Like we said, like we're gonna be opening up to multiple jurisdictions in terms of acceptance, so not in terms of marketing, but in terms of acceptance. So that's gonna be happening fairly quickly, or Cool. Another question about platform security or protection against hacks or scams. Yeah, like I said, that's going to be more a question for Graham. And here we have a question about what API data sources. Graham, data sets, Graham, data consistency ensured across reads, also Graham. And then some questions about the AI ESX. How does the team manage dependency on GPT-based models? Gonna pass this on to Graham as well for next week. I can also give some written answers if you guys like it. Whoever asks these questions about AI, send me a DM because I have answered similar questions like this before. So I should have a write-up of this somewhere. Plans for a proprietary or a hybrid AI model. I got these questions written down somewhere. I think I got most of the answers. So send me a DM, I'll send it through to you. I just need to find it somewhere. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's been all the questions that I can answer, to be honest. The rest is more technical property marketing expensive stuff. I'll just go over it one more time. So yeah, for the stuff, send me a DM and Graham will answer that as well. Okay, let me just double check for the moment. All right. I'm gonna scroll through the list of original questions one more time. Yep. Yeah, also some questions of like, what is your expectation for the price of ESX token over the next 3 months? Do you expect to see, all-time high or a launch price? It's like, guys, I can't answer these questions. You know what I mean? It's like, if I would answer it would be very suggestive and it's impossible for me to answer like price predictions and stuff like that. But I will say this is we're absolutely not in any way, shape, or form satisfied with the current levels, right? This is not where we envision to be. This is not where we want to be. Obviously, we had some bad timing, I guess, with the market, and obviously we lost some momentum in terms of platform delivery and all of that stuff. So I truly get that. So yeah, it's been a combination, I think, of which we're now trying to solve with under promise, over deliver. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's late already. And stuff like that. We're nowhere near satisfied. So we're gonna do obviously a very best to start delivering, the buybacks from revenue and all of that stuff, and to make sure that we see high levels again. That's what we want, and that's obviously what we're doing this for. So we're nowhere near satisfied as where we are right now. Nowhere near. This is not what we envision to be. This is not what we want to be as a company. Cool. Yeah, Michael Gordon's also messaging me. Getting something cool with a new family office that we're going to speak with next week. Also, the Unicorn Club members got a very big update, I think 2 weeks ago as well. You guys know what we're talking about, and the deal that we're trying to close at the moment, which is very large. So, yep. So yeah, also like, what is the question? When will and he's talking about the family office and stuff like that. When will those be activated? What's the current plan with incorporating them into the ecosystem? Yeah, so if you're in the Unicorn Club, you've seen a preview of some people that we're speaking with and deals we're trying to close. But all of these things, like family offices, are built on trust and foundation. And sometimes building these relationships takes very long. Like a family office wants to do business with a recommended party that has a good relationship with. So obviously, it's the same with governments and stuff like that. So you build these relationships for a very long time. And that's what we've been doing, etc. There's been a network indeed of accredited investors in the US, which we are now currently working with to sell some properties and offering to them. For example, Cape Verde has been offered. We have some other things that we want to be offering with them as well. So yeah, those are things that we're currently engaging with. Just, corporate processes take very long time to basically come to fruition. That's the right word. Yes. So what about the pre-saler who bought the stake for 1 year? When will the rewards be distributed? 19th of June 2026. That's what's scheduled for. What is the process of the incubation of acceleration of new projects via the RWA pad? That's just that, we will open up the website and all of that, and you were able to send in through the submission form all the details about your project. Obviously, communication can always be set up via Telegram, DM, and the project, etc., to be able and to make sure that we engage in contact and vet the right projects for them. Okay. Also questions about like Ledger, physical wallets that will be answered by Graham. Okay. Let me check. Okay, so yeah, I think those are all the main or all the questions that I could have answered. Yeah, feel free to send some more if you guys want some questions answered. I think I've answered most of them. There will be updates from Steve and Steve. Obviously, next week, Tuesday, 13th January, we have another AMA with Graham and marketing Steve to go over some new stuff. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for your attention. It's been a long AMA, and I hope I've been able to give a lot of clarity on things you guys have wanted. And I'll see you guys at the next one. Cheers.